Welcome to my YouTube channel. 11:42 in the morning, 2 days away from Christmas. And I've come onto the TikTok live stream once again. First and foremost, to display the powerful healing ability of the human body. The plant-based lifestyle does assist us in achieving this healing I speak of. So welcome Susan, welcome Eduardo, and Santa Claus is early with his presents, okay? Because look, Santa's presents that he brings around the world, it is not physical presence that the myth is talking about. It is presence. That is the gift, okay? Our awareness. So thank you, Santa Claus, for misleading an entire generation into perceiving otherwise. Okay, so we are taking from the World Peace Diet today. And honestly, guys, welcome back to the Holistic War Room, okay? Look, when we talk about surviving in the food matrix, I want you guys to understand there is more than just survival, there is thriving, okay, Katie Burt? That means eradicating chronic illnesses. Most of us are experiencing some form of chronic fatigue syndrome right now, okay? That can be eradicated. Thank you for the follow. Fix it. Let's fix it. With the plant-based lifestyle, okay? And guys, this book did help me to make the transition 7 years ago, finally, because I was struggling for many months. I was not only halfway done with this book when the choice was made. Okay, so guess what, everyone? Chapter 1 and 2 are already live on my YouTube channel, OnlyFans619. And I am about to read chapter 4, okay? Alright, it's really not that serious. I appreciate everyone for joining. Okay. So, chapter 4, inheriting our food choices. People wish to be settled. Only as far as they are unsettled is there any hope for them. From our friend Emerson. It is nothing less than a form of violence to attempt to win children over to the toxic poisons, the coarse flavor, and the unsympathetic texture of animal flesh. John Wynne Tyson. Thank you, Raiders. Yes, OnlyFans619 Raiders is where you will find chapter 1, 2, and I will upload 3 today. Okay, Raiders, OnlyFans619, just for you. Thank you for the question. This is dreadful. Not only the suffering and the death of animals, but that man suppresses in himself unnecessarily the highest spiritual capacity, that of sympathy and pity towards living creatures like himself, and by violating his own feelings becomes cruel. Okay, guys? So, our intelligence, infant indoctrination. Instead of reducing our intelligence and compassion by denying and destroying the intelligence and purpose of animals, we could celebrate, honor, and appreciate the immense diversity of intelligence, beauties, abilities, and gifts that animals possess and contribute to our world. We could liberate ourselves by liberating them and allowing them to fulfill the purposes that their particular intelligences yearn for. We could respect their lives and treat them with kindness. Our awareness and compassion would flourish, bringing more love and wisdom into our relationships with each other. We could live in far greater harmony with the universal intelligence that is the source of our life. To do so, however, we would have to stop viewing animals as commodities. And this means we would have to stop viewing them as food. If we look at animals in general, we realize that there is probably no more fundamental and essential teaching given by parent to offspring than how to feed. In finding, preparing, and eating food, adults of every species teach their young both directly and by example. We humans are no exception. In fact, because we are as infants more vulnerable than other animals, food education is even more important to us. The earliest and most basic connections we have with our parents are around food and eating. From birth, we partake of our mother's milk. For us and all mammals, this feeding epitomizes being loved, nurtured, protected, and bonded with our mother and with all that our mother represents. She has birthed us out of her body and feeds us from her breast. She represents the infinite matrix of life, the vast loving intelligence that is our source and the source of all life, that feeds and loves creatures as manifestations of itself within its boundless being. Feeding at our mother's breast is one of the most powerful, symbolic, natural acts that we as humans can engage in. We are safe, loved, nourished, and directly connected with the vast, loving, mysterious source of life. We utterly trust, and yes, pun intended, we utterly trust our mother and her milk. Thank you, Raiders, for your mindless contributions. As we grow older, stronger, and more independent, our mother prepares special soft foods for us. In an event that it is highly significant for us as children, we are weaned from our mother's milk and are taught how to eat our own food and to feed ourselves. It's likely that the disturbing loss of breastfeeding imprints the replacement food we are given especially strongly on our young and impressionable minds. We lose the warm, intimate feeding of nursing and begin to be fed our parents' food as soft and baby food, okay? This includes chicken, veal, cheese, and other animal products. So we're talking about inheriting our food choices here. As we get older, the amount of flesh, dairy, and eggs we are fed increases and become more gradually obvious and undeniable. Our bodies and minds are conditioned by the most powerful forces in our world, our parents and family. In Raiders' case, Ronald McDonald. Okay? And in the most powerful ways, through our care and feeding. To believe that we are by nature omnivorous, even carnivorous, and therefore predatory, okay? So we are raised to believe we are omnivorous, even carnivores, and predators, okay? So it's no wonder it's so difficult to question the foods we eat, okay? This taboo runs so deeply. We could not survive without the food our parents gave us, a tangible and consumable expression of their love and caring for us. As we incorporated their food, we partook of them and their values and their culture. At every meal, 3 times a day, their food became us. Their culture and food became our culture and food. Okay? So Raiders, most of us resist being told we've been indoctrinated, okay, Raiders? So you have been indoctrinated. You are resisting at this point in time, as we can see. Okay, so after all, we live in the land of the free, and we like to think we've arrived freely at the belief that we need to eat animal products and that it's natural and our right to do so. Okay? In fact, look, we have inherited this belief. We've been indoctrinated in the most deeply rooted and potent way possible as vulnerable infants, okay? We are indoctrinated to eat meat as infants, all right? Yet, because our culture denies the existence of indoctrination, the reality of this process is invisible, making it difficult for most of us to realize or admit this truth. We may become irate that someone would even suggest that our mother's loving meals and our father's barbecues were a form of indoctrination. Okay, that means people are going to get triggered. All right, so our mother and father didn't intend to indoctrinate us, just as their parents didn't intend to indoctrinate them. Nevertheless, our old herding culture, primarily through the family and secondarily through religious, educational, economic, and governmental institutions, enforce the indoctrination process in order to replicate itself in each generation and continue on. So, yes, the indoctrination of eating meat it's indoctrinated for the many past generations, a way of life, obviously. Thank you, Tasha. The reason that the indoctrinated beliefs resist being contemplated or questioned is that we did not arrive at them freely on our own. If we are challenged in a belief that we have struggled within ourselves to attain, we feel energized and welcome an opportunity to deepen our understanding, to exchange, to grow. If the belief has been indoctrinated, however, we feel nervous and irritated if it's challenged, okay, as Raiders is expressing. It's not our belief, and yet we believe it. So we try to change the subject, okay? And if that doesn't work, we create a distraction, I love McDonald's, etc., or close down or leave, or attack the one who would challenge our indoctrinated belief. Okay, so Raiders is doing literally whatever he can to block feedback or questioning, okay? Because Raiders and others, we have generally accepted this belief unconsciously. We cannot defend or support the belief, but must remain aware of any inner and outer feedback that would challenge it. So this forced unawareness, okay? Thank you, Katie Bauer. I will let you go to a search engine and type that in. I do believe you will figure that out for yourself. So this forced unawareness becomes a sort of armor, dulling the mind, and deadening the vital spiritual spark, which is our creative mind, etc., soul, within us that seeks higher awareness through increased understanding and inner freedom. The price we pay for unquestioned, indoctrinated, and inherited beliefs such as McDonald's, Burger King, and Starbucks every single day, Katie Bauer. The more we do not question the society that's around us and its inherited beliefs, we're going to pay an enormous price, okay? So by uncritically accepting culturally transmitted beliefs and blindly being their agents of fear, we remain children ethically and spiritually. Because our mind is conditioned and we are unable to question the conditioning, we find it difficult to mature or contribute our unique gifts. Our song may die within us without ever being fully sung, to the loss of everyone, especially ourselves, okay? That is the standard American diet, creating chronic illness, okay? Which does keep people from accessing their highest possible outcome. Okay, Katie Bauer, appreciate your mindless contributions. Ongoing. The importance of leaving home. I don't know if Katie Bauer's ever left her mother's basement, but I can assure you all, I have been coast to coast, okay? So, the importance of leaving home. Let's see. If we are to mature spiritually and morally, and if we are to nourish within us seeds of intelligence, Katie Bauer, compassion, and freedom, we must practice questioning the underlying assumptions of the family and culture into which we are born, okay? Something that Katie is struggling very hard with right now. This has been understood for centuries as fundamental both to individual spiritual awakening and to social progress. In Buddhism, this is called leaving home. Jesus refers to the same practice when he asks rhetorically, "Who is my mother and who are my brethren?" And when he says, "There is no man who has left home for my sake and the gospel's, but he shall receive 100-fold now and in the world to come eternal life." So leaving home is Buddhist shorthand for the spiritual practice of questioning our society's values, Katie Bauer, and adopting a higher set of values. This is essential to spiritual progress because it brings the maturity that can lead to higher consciousness, greater compassion, and ultimately freedom from the delusion of being a fundamentally separate self and the suffering and violence this delusion necessarily causes. Thank you, Ketch. Thank you, Katie Bauer. In consciously contemplating and questioning the worldview and practices of our parents, family, and culture, we make leaving home a vital foundation of and prerequisite for our spiritual growth and for undertaking what Joseph Campbell termed the hero's journey. Katie Bauer's version of the hero's journey is Super Mario 64. Okay, that is as far as Katie Bauer has gone into the hero's journey. Okay, everyone. Mario 64. All right, so let's talk about what an actual spiritual journey can afford you. The hero's journey is the cross-culturally recognized spiritual quest in which we leave the confines of home and culture, undertake an inner and unusually outer journey, and attain higher understanding, and then return to our culture with new powers to reform, vitalize, and uplift our community through inner growth attained on our journey. Okay, Katie, I hope I am uplifting you, or at least sparking your creative mind in some way, because that is what I am attempting to do here. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Mermaid. In questioning our culture's most fundamental and defining practice, that of imprisoning and brutalizing animals for food, we practice leaving home and embark on a spiritual journey that will put us fundamentally at odds with our culture's values, okay? As we can see right now. But that at the same time makes it possible for us to be heroes who can uplift and transform our alien culture, okay? So by recognizing and understanding the violence inherent in our culture's meal rituals, and consciously adopting a plant-based diet, becoming a voice for those who have no voice, we can attain greater compassion and happiness and live more fully the truth of our interconnectedness with all life, okay? In this, we fulfill the universal teachings that promote intelligence, harmony, and spiritual awakening. Our life can become a field of freedom and peace as we deepen our understanding of the sacredness and interdependence of all living beings and practice non-cooperation with those forces that see creatures as mere commodities, okay? And here's the thing, guys. There are forces that see humanity and others as mere commodities, okay? So that is who I point to, Katie Bauer and others, those parasitic forces who see us all as mere commodities, as batteries to be used. They'll be pointed at accordingly, laughed at, etc. Okay? Because once we collectively call them out, we can have them step aside so we can continue our quest for ultimate freedom. All right? Because there are those who are banking on our addictions, and I do mean that quite literally, banking, yes, the Pale King, on our collective addictions. Okay, so this is amazing. So look, by questioning our inherited cultural conditioning to commodify, abuse, and eat animals, we are taking the greatest step we can to leave home, become responsible adults, and mature spiritually, and by actively helping others to do the same. You're welcome, Katie. We return home with a liberating message of compassion and truth that can inspire and bless others, okay? By leaving home, we can find our true home, contribute to social progress, no matter how many people who are crying right now, and help the animals, which they're the ones who are crying who I actually care about, guys. Nobody in the comments I care about more than the animals who are actually crying, okay? And help the animals with whom we share this precious earth have a chance to be at home again as well. Thank you, Gracie. OnlyVent619 is my YouTube channel where I'm reading chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4 and onward of the World Peace Tide, okay? So the power of social pressure is enormous, especially here on TikTok, because people want to scroll up and see NPCs on TikTok. They do not want to be confronted with the truth that their eating habits on TikTok. All right, so check this out. Katie Bauer, I'm already in your DMs. Check now. The power of social pressure. As we can see, our culture's pervasive belief in eating, dominating, and commodifying animals is a living inheritance, passed from one generation to the next through our most powerful shared ritual, eating meals. Most of us, if asked why we eat meat, will have three basic reasons. Okay, my favorite one is this. We need the protein, okay? User's first indication, we need the protein. 2, everybody else does it. And 3, it tastes good, okay? Okay, so the first reason is a good example of an inherited belief, guys. The protein myth. We get it all the time. Okay, so we've been told from childhood that we need animal protein, and we believe it in spite of the overwhelming evidence to the contrary, along with this deep indoctrination that we must eat animals, which we can question through our practice of leaving home. Okay, the 2 other primary reasons why people today eat animals boil down to social pressure and taste, okay? Awesome. So we humans are highly sensitive to social pressure. I am crying because Katie Bauer has said some mean things. I'm going to drop her DMs later and ask for her forgiveness. That is what social pressure does to us, guys. Okay? Do you understand? We're surrounded by a culture of omnivorism as fish live surrounded by water. We like to fit in, okay? I really want to fit in, guys, and be part of the group with which we identify. So we are unlikely to seriously examine the culturally pervasive practice of eating animal foods, okay? Which is why I do not care about literally anything people are saying. This is about the animals first and foremost. Meals carry powerful social significance, and we fear that others might be hurt or offended or not like us if we go against the food status quo, okay? Which I face every single day, okay? Look, 70,000 viewers have gathered enough IQ level to assess that something I am saying is perhaps correct. Obviously. Okay, so when you gather more than 5 followers, please feel free to reach out to me. And even if you don't, look, we're going to be able to assess each other's IQ level accordingly here. That's what I'm a gifted individual at doing so. Okay, so look, we are aware that by not eating animal foods, we will be seen as threatening and implicitly criticizing the overwhelming majority of people around us who do not eat them, okay? That means everyone's crying about me going plant-based, okay? Big deal. Because we naturally want to please our friends, family, colleagues, and coworkers and be accepted by them. I've been through this many, many times. Look, okay, so we know instinctively not to question such a primary practice as eating animal foods during the shared meals that are basic to our relationships. I have not learned that. I'm the one to go up to Katie Bauer and, okay, give her one of those and say, what you're doing is causing chronic illnesses, okay? So I'm the type to walk straight up into your face. Awesome, okay? And many of us are, and look, it is, and I get the vegans, all right? The vegans who are out there, look, that is not my goal here in reading this book, but if you're going to join the live stream and make your low IQ known, I am going to give you one of those, okay? All right. But no, I'm not going to stand outside of your house and read the World Peace Diet outside of Mr. Ninja's house, okay? That is not my efforts. You guys are sitting here in my live stream contributing to my algorithm, so I thank you guys once again for my ongoing continued success. And hopefully I can spark your creative mind so that you may realize that you guys are actually the healer, okay? It's nothing I'm saying. It's the body that's the healer. I'm not taking credit for the body being the healer. I'm just reminding you of what we're capable of. Thank you, Gemma, for the follow. Everyone gets a shout out. Ninja gets a shout out. User 6669 who just joined gets a shout out. Every single person in this live stream. User 307. I just ate bone broth ramen actually. Nice. So let me get back to my I apologize to my YouTube channel. Okay, guys, so look, because we naturally want to please our friends, family, colleagues, and coworkers and be accepted by them, we know instinctively not to question this practice, okay? So talking about how delicious food is, sharing recipes, having cookouts, going on fishing expeditions, traveling together, sharing restaurants, relaxing and enjoying church barbecue, that is what our social lives revolve around, okay? Sharing the food, and there's nothing more potentially disturbing to all this than rejecting the confining and killing of defenseless animals, okay? Which constitutes the foundation of our meals today, all right? So there is nothing more subversive to a herding culture than refusing to view animals as commodities, or more concretely, refusing to eat animal foods. We know this in our bones, and the social pressure to fit in and eat what everyone eats is unrelentless. Okay? On top of this social pressure is marketing pressure that comes directly from the animal food industries. The meat, dairy, and egg industries are notorious for aggressively marketing their products, targeting children and healthcare professionals in particular. Okay? It's well known, for example, that the dairy industry has been providing free educational materials to schools for decades that shamelessly promote dairy products, all right? The animal food industries also cultivate cozy relationships with the professional nutritionist, dietitian, and medical associates by sponsoring programs and studies, and in other ways helping them financially. These associations, of course, repay favors by recommending or at least not questioning the practice of eating animal foods. Merry Christmas. So look, guys, we are surrounded by media images and messages promoting the eating of flesh, milk products, and eggs. Meat-based fast food restaurants are ubiquitous in our cultural landscape, and they spend billions of dollars annually in advertising and promoting their products. McDonald's, for example, reportedly spends as much as $500 million on one ad campaign, while the National Cancer Institute spends only about $1 million a year to promote eating 5 daily servings of fruits and vegetables, okay? So think of the perspective that we're facing here. So McDonald's will spend $500 million on one ad campaign, and they'll release, 20 to 30 of these in 1 year. Compare that with our National Cancer Institute, who spends $1 million a year to offset what the damage that McDonald's caused. Okay, so there's an issue here. So the dairy industry spends hundreds of millions in its highly effective advertising campaigns and even gets financial and legal assistance from the federal government to promote its products. Food is the largest U.S. industry, and it is dominated by meat, dairy, and egg producers. As potential consumers, we are all being constantly bombarded with subtle and not so subtle messages to buy their products. The meat, dairy, and egg industry's greatest sales promoters are, of course, our parents, families, neighbors, and teachers as we are growing up, our colleagues, families, friends, okay, as we get older. We internalize this and create a self-image of someone who eats normally and enjoys certain foods, okay? That determines our behavior, all right? The advertising industry learned long ago that while we resist attempts to influence us directly, we are easily influenced when we can be made to identify with a particular image. Once we identify with an image, the industry needs only to manipulate the image to manipulate our behavior. Viewing images that portray successful Americans eating certain foods, okay? Look, you've all seen the milk mustache commercials, okay? We've all seen Michael Jordan sweating green and blue Gatorade, okay? We've all seen this. So yeah, for example, we naturally want to buy the same foods because we imagine ourselves to be successful Americans as well. This is inheriting our food choices, okay? So in this way, programming and advertising and the mass media work hand in hand to create a powerful and reliable demand for certain products. It should be noted that another fundamental source of pressure to eat animal foods is the medical establishment, which shows almost universal antipathy toward plant-based diet. So it is saying the medical, and you will see this in hospitals. What restaurant is in most hospitals? McDonald's. Okay? All right, so they will dismiss plant-based products, plant-based diets. Medicine is the second largest U.S. industry after food. And the pharmaceutical industry, like the fast food industry, spends vast sums of money on advertising and promoting its products. With its gargantuan investment in hospitals, research, equipment, doctors, medical schools, and the other aspects of its massive substructure, the medical industry and the banking industry lurking behind it demands a continuous and reliable flood of sick people. Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this? Thank you, Full of Energy. I appreciate your mindful contributions. Thank you, Professional Hater. I appreciate your mindless contributions. One more. Thank you, Wild West. I appreciate your mindful contributions. Okay? Thank you, Professional Hater. I appreciate your mindless, yes, mindless contributions. T. Larry, I appreciate your contributions overall. Somewhere in between mindful and mindless is where I see you. Okay. Okay, so we're going over social pressure and inheriting our food choices. All right. So, okay. So it requires a flood of sick people, the medical industry, okay? These hospitals need patients. These hospitals that you see everywhere in the world, they're not just sitting empty in the United States. They have people in them who are suffering from these chronic diseases caused by the Food Matrix Network. You've seen the title. So it's suddenly understandable why so many means are used to discourage people from questioning their omnivorous way of eating, given the overwhelming evidence that we would be so much healthier and less reliable consumers of pharmaceutical products and medical services if we abandoned animal foods altogether. Okay? I just made money in the 3D as I'm speaking, okay? And that's absolutely incredible to me. Okay, so I'm just going to shout myself out. But this isn't about that right now. Okay, so look. So social pressure from friends, family, and associates together with market pressure from the food and medical industries exert a powerful force on all of us to eat animal foods and curb our awareness of the repercussion of our actions, okay? These influential powers in our lives do not want us to leave home and think for ourselves about what we are eating and the consequences of our food choices, all right? It is a height of irony that, amid all this pressure, we may respond angrily to people who questioning our eating of animal foods with, don't tell me what to eat. We see it in the comments all the time. Don't tell me what to eat. Meat is good, okay, etc. We've already been told and are being told in no uncertain terms what to eat, okay? We can see that historically, social pressure has been a potent factor in retarding social progress and in promoting racism, intolerance, violence, and war. Oh yeah, this was before the pandemic. So if we can look to social pressure and see what it has done to people during the pandemic, can we adjust the social pressure of the lens and focus on our food supply, please? All right, so we can see that historically social pressure has been a potent factor in retarding social progress, etc. While social mores can certainly influence us in a positive way, it's positive that they influence us in many negative ways as well. Social pressures amongst adolescent boys are powerful factors in, for example, encouraging drug and alcohol abuse, viewing girls as objects, etc. Things I can't really say. So it's well known that in Nazi Germany, social pressure played a key role in Adolf Hitler's ability to consolidate power, destroy millions of lives, gypsies, communists, and etc., go to war with millions of others. The medieval European witch hunt that spanned several centuries, terrorizing women and savagely destroying tens of thousands of people, is a particularly bleak example of the terrible power social pressure can yield. Okay? Social pressure was certainly a powerful influence in the antebellum South, reinforcing the racist white attitudes that slavery required with stereotypes and social rituals that reaffirmed white supremacy. Today, social pressure is similarly fundamental in promulgating the specious attitudes that animals are ours to eat, wear, and use. Stereotypes of animals used for food are exceedingly negative, blinding us completely to the intelligence and beauty of pigs, cows, chickens, turkeys, fish, and other animals. Social rituals of domination, like rodeos, circuses, and zoo exhibits, all reinforce the daily rituals of domination and exclusion known as meals. The intensity of this social pressure to collectively abuse animals is enormous. And it's saying even the most avid Ku Klux Klan members don't burn crosses 3 times a day, okay? And he's saying that we've gotten everybody to commit this atrocity 3 times a day. He's saying not even the Klan members burn the crosses 3 times every day. So this ritual, it is one of self-hate, okay? So we can carry on here. Contemplating taste, okay? So besides infant indoctrination and social market pressure, there is a third factor that drives people to eat animal foods. It is the taste, okay? It's the smell of cooking flesh, the familiar smell of pot roast, for example. Is that really good, or does it trigger old childhood memories that were good? The smell might evoke our mother's kitchen and the warm feeling of the love we received through her home cooking. If our spouse wants to eat a plant-based diet and prepares a vegetable stir-fry with tempeh and baked potatoes, we might not think it smells so good because we never smelled it in our mother's kitchen. We will resist the meal and exert social pressure on our vegetarian spouse to go back to real food. Depending on your partner. It's perhaps true, as the old saying has it, that taste cannot be disputed, but it can nevertheless be contemplated. In contemplating the taste of animal foods, several things become immediately apparent. One is that we detest eating animal flesh in its natural state. Ironically, unlike plant foods, which are often delicious to us when uncooked. Raw flesh is basically disgusting to us. It is virtually always cooked and carefully prepared in order to become food for us humans. Unlike the raw flesh, blood, scales, skin, bones, and organs that are gobbled up by natural omnivores and carnivores. Alright? If we had to eat natural raw flesh or no flesh, I suspect we would all become vegetarians immediately. I suggest the same thing. If we were to eat natural raw flesh or no flesh, so raw flesh or nothing, we would all immediately choose nothing. Some of depending on the parasite's alignment, they will attempt to go raw carnivore to disturb and dispel and mislead as many people as possible. But as we've seen with the carnivore diet, nobody can actually do that long term. No one can actually do that long term. Okay, Dippy. All right, so let's dip. Let's dip back into this. All right. So let's see. Another thing we notice is that we don't like the flesh if it's soaked in blood, even if it is cooked, okay? So the main reason animals suffer so horribly in slaughterhouses is that they must be alive when they're I don't know if I can say it. Look, they're one second. The main reason animals suffer so horribly in slaughterhouses is that they must be alive when their throats are so that their still beating hearts can pump the blood out of the bodies and partially dry up the flesh, okay? So if they were by some other means and then they were cut up, the flesh would be drenched and nobody would actually eat it, okay? It's not that I'm flustered, it's that if I say certain trigger words, the live stream could end. So I have to read around those triggering words because people will cry. People will cry, you know? That's the thing. So one fact we may not ordinarily consider is that the blood-drained and well-cooked flesh we smack our lips over is permeated with the waste products of the cells that make up the flesh, okay? These waste products, or urea, are inseparable from flesh and were flowing into the blood when the animal was killed, to be filtered out of the blood by the kidneys and excreted as urine. In fact, what gives meat its distinctive and apparently appetizing flavor is the cooked urea into the flesh. Salty and meaty, urea gives flesh the taste we've come to associate with fine dining and good time barbecues. Okay, urea is urine, guys, alright? Okay, a fourth thing we notice about the taste of animal products is that in many ways, the more we disguise them and hide them, the more we like them. We cook flesh and eggs and add salt, pepper, seasoning, herbs, and all manner of taste enhancers and modifiers. Most cheeses involve cooking animals' milk, and without all the added salt, most cheeses would be unappetizing to most people. We add all kinds of flavorings and fruits and sugars to make cream and milk more appealing in ice cream, chocolate milk, and flavored yogurts. We bury a salted, smoked, and tenderized ground flesh patty amidst tomatoes, onions, lettuce, mustard, ketchup, mayo, relish. So we have to ask, is it really the taste of the flesh in animal products that we're enjoying so much? Or is it rather all the plant-based sauces, seasonings, condiments, and dressing that camouflage and elevate the taste of the animal products we've been pressured into eating? Thank you, Tommy, for your mindless contributions. Besides the condiments, the hamburger is well buried in propaganda. McDonald's tells our children it comes from a burger patch. When cooked and properly camouflaged, animal flesh, eggs, and milk products all have one taste factor going for them. They are high in saturated fat. We humans seem to easily develop cravings for fatty, creamy, greasy foods, and animal foods tend to fulfill these taste cravings. Though plant foods can certainly be prepared in fatty, creamy ways if we should so desire, and without any of the toxic cholesterol of animal foods. Because the cooked fat and urea combination cannot be exactly replicated by plant foods, these are certainly tastes and textures in animal foods that aren't precisely duplicated by plant foods, but many of the more recent meat analogs come amazingly close. However, most people who are raised as omnivores and have switched to a plant-based diet for at least a year or two find nothing at all attractive about the taste or texture of animal foods any longer. From my experience, they do not crave it at all, but find it increasingly revolting. According to Neil Bernard, medical doctor, one of the most surprising discoveries in the science of appetite is that it requires maintenance. Since our taste cells turn over about every 3 weeks, He points out that 2 or 3 weeks is all it takes for our taste cells to forget the taste of animal foods, and that this will eliminate most of our cravings for them, because the new taste cells will be accustomed only to the taste of plant-based foods. The craving we have for animal foods is conditioned and maintained by repetition, and our typical diet, high in animal fat, animal protein, and cholesterol, is fundamentally toxic to our physiology. So the elimination of cravings may not be so simple as Neil Barnard in Breaking the Food Seduction points out. A growing body of research is demonstrating that meat, and especially cheese, are physically addicting, okay? Thank you, Bad Apple, for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you, James, for your mindful contribution. This one's for Taylor, okay? I don't know where Taylor is right now, but Taylor, this part is for you, okay? So the elimination of cravings may not be so simple as Neil Barnard discusses in Breaking the Food Seduction. A growing body of research is demonstrating that meat, and especially cheese, are physically addicting. So when digested, cheese releases opiates called casomorphins, okay, as well as amphetamine-like chemical called phenylethylamine, and that's found in sausage as well, okay? Ham, salami, tuna, and other meats also appear to be addicting because opiate-blocking drugs reduce people's desire for them. Besides whatever physical addiction there may be, a lot of craving for animal food seems to be mental and emotional. The smell of pot roast cooking conjures up mom insecurity, okay? It's emotional habit. So this is the World Peace Diet, Chapter 4, Inheriting Our Food Choices. So eating food is a lot like making love, and that the inner images and attitudes we have are more important to our enjoyment than the physical or objective reality of which or whom we partake. Our taste is determined ultimately by our mind. I found personally that my taste appreciation for foods has grown enormously since I began a plant-based diet 30 years ago, and as the years go by, the flavors are more richer, more infinitely varied, and even more delicious. I can attest to this as well. I have personally found that my appreciation for foods have grown enormously since going plant-based 7 years ago. This individual was 30 years ago. Most vegans I've talked to find this to be true as well. There are probably two main reasons for this. One is that plant foods tend to be subtler in their taste than animal-based foods. As we discussed, animal foods are salty from urea and added salt, and they're usually dressed with strong tasting tenderizers, sauces, condiments, and flavor enhancers. So our sense of taste may become somewhat numbed by these strong flavors, so a plant-based diet seems bland at first. But after a few weeks, our taste buds are able to reset, become more sensitive, because they are not being chronically overwhelmed by strong artificial flavors added to animal foods. We become more sensitive to the delicate flavors of vegetables, grains, legumes, and fruits, and all the endless ways of preparing and combining them. So new vistas will unfold endlessly, and I can tell you guys this right now. Thank you, Moonling, for the follow. Look, I don't know if I would ever have tried jackfruit in my life if I didn't stop eating meat, and jackfruit, when prepared correctly, can literally replicate the taste of pulled pork. Millie the Pity, please do not despair. Look, after you consume the McDonald's, please sit with your energy levels and ask yourself, was that conducive to my energy levels? Is this helping me right now? Just be present to the after effects, okay? Not only when you're eating it, but I want you to be present after you're done eating it, okay? Just start there with some awareness. So, look, the other reason that plant-based foods taste better is that we feel better eating them and contemplating their origins, all right? Eating slowly, we enjoy contemplating the organic orchards and gardens that supply these vegetables, fruits, and grains that we're eating. We grow to appreciate the nearly miraculous beauty of the cabbages and cauliflower, the fragrance of roasted sesame seeds, sliced oranges, chopped cilantro, squash, and the wonderful textures of avocado, persimmon, steamed quinoa, and sauteed tempeh. This is all absolutely true. Okay, when I actually realized some of these fruits, persimmons, how delicate and amazing steamed quinoa actually is. Even tempeh, okay? And I don't eat tempeh very often, but it is very delicious, all right? So we are grateful for the connection we feel with the earth, the clouds, the nurturing gardeners, and the seasons. And the taste are delicious gifts we naturally enjoy opening to. As we would open to our beloved and making love and appreciating the beloved fully. In contrast, eating animal foods is often done quickly, without feeling deeply into the source of the food. For who would want to contemplate the utter hells that produce our factory farmed fish, chicken, eggs, cheese, steak, bacon, hot dog, or burgers? Feeling guilty, we just have to take the life force without really opening to it, as if we were with a prostitute, okay? Refusing to acknowledge that she is a unique and precious being and distancing ourselves from her suffering. All right, just the pleasure, please. Anything more would spoil our fun. Don't tell me where it comes from, etc. Actually, the taste that we prize in animal foods is more like what we would experience as I don't know if I can say that word, as a rapist, okay? So at least when you're with a prostitute, you have some form of consent, all right? Animals are not consenting to any of this. Animals are not consenting to any of this, okay? Thank you, Dr. Treeman. That's amazing. Yeah, you're at the farmer's market in Alabama. Perfect. So yeah. We know it is unacceptable to knowingly harm sentient creature. Hold on, I think I skipped. Okay, so when we contemplate our taste, we can see how When we contemplate our taste, we can see how conditioned they actually are. More importantly, though, we can see how utterly unsupportable they are as reasons to commit violence against defenseless, feeling beings. Self-centered craving for pleasure and fulfillment at the expense of others is the antithesis of the golden rule, okay? And of every standard of morality. Okay, it just is. So guys, we know it's unacceptable to knowingly harm sentient creatures simply to satisfy our personal taste, okay? We know this. If we see a man whose umbrella we find attractive, we know it's wrong to take the umbrella just because our taste desires it. Or if we see a woman who we find attractive, we can't just take from her because we desire. All right, that is not instant gratification is not the way, all right? So these actions are wrong because they cause suffering to others and violate their integrity. Do you guys get it yet? It does take a while to get, and that's okay. So I'm here for the next 3 years attempting to communicate this to you all. All right, so these actions are wrong because it does cause suffering to others who it violates their integrity for purely selfish reasons. So we also know that we must face social and legal consequences if we were to commit these acts on another human being. So, however, if we desire to eat the flesh or milk or eggs of an animal because if we like it, and this means killing, confining, attacking, then we are encouraged to do these to the animals, okay? Encourage relentlessly. I don't know why that was muted, but I unmuted that for you, Catch. Okay. So the social consequences of harming animals for food are all positive. Okay, since our culture denies animals used for food any inherent value in their own right, limiting their worth simply to their value as commodities to those who own them, animals have no protection. Ordering a steak earns us approving nods, and our friends rave over the barbecued ribs at the office picnic, alright? It's true, eating contests, all right, etc. The actual confinements, raping, mutilating, and killing are kept carefully hidden, okay, as shameful secrets that would make us profoundly uncomfortable if we had to witness them, or worse, perform them for ourselves, okay? 200 years ago in the South, a slave could certainly be beaten, stolen from, confined, raped, okay, and by his master or his overseer with no feelings of compassion. Such behavior was encouraged by the culture and the upbringing of the dominating class. This upbringing dulled natural human feelings of compassion, connectedness, and justice, inhibited people's intelligence, and allowed them to act brutally without a sense of remorse, okay? So deep down, they certainly knew better, okay? They knew better than to see that when they saw a slave being struck, okay, they couldn't just look the other way. They would feel it in their heart, okay? So just as we know today, when we order a cheese omelet with bacon just because we like the taste, okay? So we know these animals are suffering, we choose to look the other way, okay? That's just the reality of where it stands. Though our natural intelligence knows this and is a profoundly immoral act, our knowing is suppressed and our hearts are hardened against the misery that these chickens, cows, and pigs endure just to satisfy our pleasure, okay? So we prefer not to know and are more comfortable in knowing, and we are more comfortable in knowing that no one, not the waitress, nor our friends, nor the media, will in any way remind us of the enormous animal misery necessitated by our demand. The animals suffer out of sight and their cries are unheeded by us. They have no voice as long as we refuse to listen to them. So look, that's what I'm going to be doing. So people will not tell you guys this, okay? It's not a popular message, okay? But I'm here for you all to let you guys know that this is an atrocity that we're experiencing on planet Earth as the animals' caretakers. We have failed them greatly, pushed them out of our sights so we can no longer steward them correctly, okay? And we expect to. So probably lagging. Okay, so you are probably lagging. You're probably in a remote area. So you probably need to understand that 90% of the United States of America is coming onto a smart grid city network. You probably need to understand that the majority of meat and animal products that are consumed by the majority of the United States, okay, are the result of this this meat industry where the animals are in fact confined and suffering out of sight, okay? Probably open your mind to that a little bit because it's blatantly obvious. It's blatantly obvious. So I'm glad you're doing your part off the grid, okay? But I'm in a smart grid city, and this is what I'm broadcasting this message, okay? While I'm in the smart grid cities, so that I may inform as many people as possible. My country banned factory farming, so probably lagging. Look, so you guys are, where are you from, probably lagging? Can you please tell me what country banned factory farming? Because if the United States were to ban factory farming, then I could relieve myself from the holistic dining room table. I county, not country. I see, my county. Okay, well, please inform me which county that's, or you don't have to release that information. Absolutely incredible decision your county in Tennessee has made to ban factory farming. Now, we need to come together, every county and from coast to coast, okay, needs to come together and make the same decision for the betterment of planet Earth, okay? So that's an amazing situation that you have going on in that part of the country. Please protect that part of the state. Tennessee is absolutely beautiful. I did live in Bowling Green, Kentucky for about 3 or 4 years, okay? And I will say again, that part of the country, absolutely beautiful. Chattanooga, okay? What's in the far east Kentucky? There's a natural bridge out there, okay? Wook life is freedom life, and freedom is the number one value of the so-called American society. So look, Wooks are the new Americans. All right, so check it out. Our well-being and our survival depend on our seeing this clearly and throwing off our chains of domination and unawareness, okay? By harming and exploiting billions of animals, we confine ourselves spiritually, morally, emotionally, and cognitively, and blind ourselves to the poignant, heart-touching beauty of nature, animals, and each other. So to be free or to be a wook, we must practice freeing others. To be loved, we must practice loving others. To have true self-respect, we must respect others, the animals and other voiceless beings, the starving humans and future generation are pleading with us to see that the answer is on our plate. Okay, so thank you, probably lagging, for the follow. And that was chapter 4 of the World Peace Diet, Inheriting Our Food Choices, okay? Chapter 5 goes over the intelligence of the human body, which is going to be absolutely incredible because, yeah, it's one of my favorite topics. So let me read a quote really quick from Benjamin Franklin, okay? My refusing to eat flesh occasioned an inconveniency, and I was frequently chided for my singularity. But with this lighter repast, I made the greater progress from greater clearness of head and quicker comprehension. This is one of our founders of the United States of America, Benjamin Franklin. How many times do I have to slap people across the head with these legends, okay? Benjamin Franklin is coming along to say, I was outcast as a plant-based individual. I didn't care. I received higher energy levels, greater clarity of mind, and quicker comprehension. All right, so look, guys, that's going to be an amazing chapter. I love when I can pull from people we all look up to, but I might have to break this chapter into 2 parts because it is very long. Chapter 5 is page 66 to 95. So, yikes. Okay, so let me address some comments. Tyke, what I'm going to do with you is we're going to spiritually evaluate your situation. I have no idea what you're trying to express to me. I do see that you're a chosen one, however. Okay? What that means, Tyke, and we're all chosen ones. Tay-K, okay? If I'm saying your name wrong, Tay-K. So guess what? You are a chosen one, which means that something that I have said here or somewhere on my page will spark your creative mind, give you the ability to remember that the body is the healer, okay? All right, so you have that ability. All you need to do is open your mind and choose yourself, okay? So whenever you're ready, that's available for you. All right. Cash White just had McDonald's. So Cash White, that's amazing. Guess what? Now that your dopamine levels are plummeting rapidly, I want you to sit with the crash that you're experiencing. Okay, it's a lot like smoking a cigarette and wanting a cigarette again. I want you to go through those addictions and just be present for them. Okay. Thank you, Tay-K. I just opened your mind. That's what I'm here to do. All right. So there wasn't a lot going on. I was reading. So thank you, Honeybee. I don't know how many of you I missed. Dr. Treeman, I saw your live earlier, part of it when you were driving, and now you've arrived at the farmer's market in Alabama. So you went and cut down a few trees this morning, and now you found yourself at the farmer's market in Alabama. That's absolutely incredible. Please make some connections with the lovely people there. And yeah, supporting your local farmers, you're automatically welcomed into a community. People will remember you, okay? And they're not there for the money. They're there to see people. They're there to carry on the human race. Okay, that is why the farmers go every weekend to the farmers market. They're not in it for the money. Yes, we need the money to survive, but they're farming to provide us nutrition. Okay, we can't grow nutrition in a lab. All right, despite what you've been told. So that's an amazing. Update. Okay, so I missed an important one from Derek Kyle. Cheese and almonds gave me kidney stones 7 years ago. So that's very unfortunate. Yeah, cheese and even almonds too. If they're not soaked before you're eating the almonds, they're not being digested correctly. So yeah, your kidneys are going to take up some of that process. They're going to suffer. So if you're eating almonds or any kinds of nuts, please soak them. I received a follower, LJ. Thank you. Okay, so yeah. Just some friends, okay? Just some friends. Okay, cool. So yeah, guys, I've completed my mission. Thank you, user 36, for the follow. How often do I fast? Well, Tanner, I fast every single day, okay? And I mean I intermittently fast, so it is 12:47 p.m. I have yet to eat anything, okay? Hot water, distilled water. Do I still skate? Look, I was thinking about skating today. Here's the thing. I'm no longer in Southern California. So anytime I go to a skate park, it's not the same. There's no culture. There's no skateboarding culture here. Let me put it this way. I am the culture when I arrive to the skate parks here in Dallas, Texas, okay? Not to take from what Dallas has built as a community at all. I feel isolated. So do I still skate? Yes, I still skate. Am I going to skate today? Yes, I am going to skate today. Now let me click on your profile, and let's see. You're on the beginning of something. You're looking. If you open your mind, you can achieve a powerful manifestation. By the way, do I know you from somewhere? Los Angeles, Venice Beach, San Diego, or just from TikTok, perhaps. I haven't had McDonald's in 5 years. That's great. Did you naturally experience weight when switching to plant-based diet? I think you mean weight loss. Did I naturally experience weight loss? Not really. I've literally been the same weight, give or take 10 pounds over, 10 pounds under. I've never gone over 160. I've never gone under 130. Okay? No matter what I am doing. So yeah, and it's never about weight loss to me. When it comes to this lifestyle, it's never been about weight loss for me personally. It is. I can see why many people are into that. 6 out of 10 of us being obese, 7 out of 10 of us being overweight. So I can see why that's an issue. But again, it was my energy levels that I was attempting to recover and have. Okay. So yeah, I still skate, and I just, gosh, Abby just went to LA for 7 days, and even if I did go with her, I wouldn't have time to skate. I'd be just as, because when I don't get to skate, guys, I'm not actually the same person. I don't know who I am. Okay, it's that important for me to. It's just one of those things that I need to do every day. So, it is raining. I don't know if I can today, but I appreciate the question. What I am going to do is take my friends, and yes, I do have friends, okay? I'm going to take my friends on a walk. Okay, Bluebees heard walk, and he's already getting ready to go on a walk. Okay? Bluebees, do you understand what's about to happen right now? By the way, Blue is the smartest dog I've ever worked with. He's the most intelligent creature. that literally I've ever had the blessing of working with. Okay, and Liv, I don't know if you know this, but I did work at GW Exotic Zoo, also known as where the Tiger King was founded, Joe Exotic. Okay, I did work there. All right, so I am an animal caretaker. I am a professional. Okay, so yeah, this is one that I'm watching now, and that's basically all I wanted to do on the live stream today. So OnlyFans619 is my YouTube channel. I have chapter 1, chapter 2 are already posted, okay? And then chapter 3, chapter 4 I will post today. All right, guys. So thank you for joining me. Do I still skate? Gosh, I was thinking about this so much today. Why did you have to ask me that question? Because, look, it's also overcast outside, and it's just not, the conditions for skateboarding are just not what I want them to be. So do you understand why I'm not skating as much? This is what I'm used to. This is what I'm used to. And this is the reality, okay? All right? So yeah, thank you, Liv. Look, here's the thing about about this platform. Due to the content that I repeatedly am expressing here, not only on the live streams, but on the page, okay, demonetization has been effective. Basically, only half of the monetization of the platform is available to OnlyFans619 due to the content, due to everything I post. Okay, if you get flagged enough times, they will demonetize you. So, in an attempt to monetize social media and still get this information out there, that is what the YouTube channel is for. Okay, I already have 1,000 hours viewed, which is quite miraculous, as I only just started the channel 2 months ago. Okay, so 1,000 hours viewed, and then I forgot how many subscribers I need to hit monetization. Okay, I think I need 1,000 subscribers, but we're at 250. Okay, so thank you, Liv. Thank you, others. I appreciate you guys. So Tanner, I don't know if he's still in here. My longest fast was 30 days. 30 days on liquids like fresh pressed juice, smoothies, soups, etc. My longest fast on water was 11 days. Okay, and I was working back-to-back shifts. Laura, I'm actually congested. I have a huge loogie in the back of my throat. And out of consideration for you, Laura, I am not going to... Unless you would like me to do so, Laura. Okay? Other than that, I will log off the live stream now. And thank you, Liv, for the subscribing to my YouTube channel, OnlyFans619. I will post chapter 3 and 4 today. Okay, thank you, guys.